Welcome to the Prescott Home Value Report through October 2024, brought to you by Diane Bro, the Prescott Pickle Lady. As you could probably tell, I am not the Pickle Lady. That's me in the bottom right-hand corner. My name is Randall, and the Pickle Lady has authorized me to show you the following slides as always. We start off with the median sales price per square foot in the city of Prescott. The blue line is last year, the red line is this year, and each dot represents the median sales price per square foot in that month in this entire city of Prescott. These prices have been very flat for at least a couple of years now. You get a little shucking and jiving between the red line and the blue line. I don't really think it matters a whole lot. I don't think there's a whole lot of significance in these little variations. I would just describe this as flat. Last month, where I think that's a negative 5% appreciation from last year. This year, October didn't dip as much as it did last year, so now they've closed the gap to 2%. I don't think there's any real significance in that. If you look at 6-month returns, we're running about 2 or 3% higher year over year. It just so happens in this month it's negative 2%. So last year we had some price decreases into November and December. It'll be interesting to see if the red line follows. So I would say this is kind of a seasonal thing. People start reducing prices into the holiday season. Just to try to wrap things up, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see if the red line will follow next month. I'll be here in about a month to tell you if it did or not. Moving now to transaction volume. Again, this is the city of Prescott. Blue is last year, red is this year. We've been running, it's been about 20% in terms of the drop from last year's transaction volume to this year. Last month, we kind of evened out, which is interesting. Across the country, people are still reporting about 20% less or fewer transactions than last year. In part, that's because of long-term COVID effects. Not that people have COVID, but a lot of people sold their homes during COVID instead of waiting until later on. Instead of now, for example. So yeah, we've seen this little gap. It's been closing over time, and last month we became even. Now we're a little bit lower. I don't see a whole lot of significance in that. Last year we had this amazing dive. I think that was because November was sort of shorter, the way the days laid out and the holidays and everything. I think Thanksgiving came earlier or something. I think that had a lot to do with this drop. So I'm anticipating that this red line is going to be somewhere, 90, 85, something like that next month. But we shall see. So is it a buyer's market, seller's market? What is it? Well, the way that we answer that question is with something we call the pending ratio analysis. So in the city of Prescott, when I ran these numbers, there were 666 total homes on the market. I don't think that has anything to do with the Antichrist. It's just the number of homes we had on the market. Of those, 102 were pending. Well, 102 is 15% of 666. And if you look up 15% in our candy dandy color chart here, you'll see that that is a strong buyer's market. So right now we would characterize Prescott as being in a strong buyer's market. If you break that out by price point, it looks something like this. So in this chart, the blue columns are the number of homes that sold. This is the red line is the pending ratio for homes in that price point. So we don't have a whole lot of homes in the hundreds. This is I should clarify, this is the number of homes that sold in the past month. Million plus is really, so over the holidays I have to move this chart further to the right. I'm thinking This is kind of the classic shape that you expect to see. Generally, the lower the price point, the more of a seller's market it is. And as homes get more and more expensive, they kind of drift off to the right. They start getting lower and lower. Not sure what happened in the 7s and 8s. They're not as extreme as these. That's not a big difference between these two and the 6s. And then you get down into the 900s, and then all of a sudden the millions pop up here. So some interesting patterns going on. For whatever reason, the demand for the homes in million plus seems to have gone up quite a bit. All right, so how long does it take for homes to sell in Prescott? It takes about 5.4 months to get a contract. From the moment that you go into MLS until you get a contract, the average is 5.4 months, and escrows are taking about an extra month. So the whole thing's about 6 months and a week or two. All right, so moving now to Prescott Valley. Same analysis. Once again, prices per square foot have been very, very flat for quite some time now. We're running 5% over last year. We were kind of running 5%, and then it kind of flip-flopped. Now we're back to 5%. I'm expecting the red line to just continue in this same sort of pattern. So that's probably pretty accurate. We have been running about 5% over last year's prices for some time now. Here's the volume. Now the volume's a lot lower than in Prescott. I say a lot lower, it's lower. And the red and blue lines are kind of drifting in and out of one another. So again, we had a major drop in volume in November. Not as dramatic as in Prescott. This little blip, this drop and this comeback, this looks a lot, when you look at this as a percentage, it looks a lot worse than it really is. I think this is just sort of noise in the market. So we're expecting the red line to drip down and start intertwining as well. It's been following last year's cycle pretty closely. Pending ratio for Prescott Valley, 304 homes on the market, 55 are pending. That's 18%. So that's almost a buyer's market, still a strong buyer's market. Breaking that out by price point, again, not a lot going on, the hundreds, 200s. And then there's this blip in the 400s, which is kind of strange. This line this month is really really strange. And then the million plus, I think we're getting a lot more attention in the million plus side because we saw this same pattern in Prescott. So suddenly the very expensive homes are in more of a demand compared to supply. All right, how long does it take for a home in Prescott Valley to sell? 3.2 months. Remember, this was 5-something in Prescott, so things are happening a lot quicker. And even escrows, I don't know if there's any significance here. Usually escrows are about a month, so this is really, really short. Must have a lot of cash deals going on this past month. But from contract, MLS until contract's about 3 months, 3 and a week. All right, so highlights. The median price per square foot in Prescott is $320. That is a negative 1% change from last month and negative 2% year over year. In Prescott Valley, that number is $298, which is exactly the same as it was last month, and we're running 5% over last year. In terms of volume, we're at 105 transactions in Prescott, 77 in Prescott Valley. That's what I was saying. This number looks really, really big because that number is not so big. But that is, we're both looking at negative 5% from last year in both cities. Inventory in Prescott right now is 666, which is almost exactly the same as it was last month. Same thing in Prescott Valley. So inventory levels have really stabilized quite a bit. And months to contract in Prescott, 5.4 months to a contract. same as last month. Prescott Valley 3.2, same as last month.
Look, if you like this kind of stuff, we got lots more for you in the Prescott Home Value Report. This is just a summary. We go into specific subdivisions and just a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of slicing and dicing. So I would encourage you to download that report and get it in full. We update this report every month, but it is not the only report we do. We also have what we call the Appraiser's Eye View, which is the last 6 months of latest comps. And it's broken out by subdivision. In fact, Prescott Lakes, we break it out by neighborhood. So it's very, very detailed. This is an example of what you'll see in the chart. This would be a subdivision. It's sorted by price per square foot, the number of months that it took the home to sell, square footage, the year it was built, how many stories, how many acres, and whether the listing agent is reporting the home having a view or not. Using this, you can look at all the different comps that occurred. You can see the average down here. So using this, it's a really good tool to figure out what you should be paying for a home or where you might want to price a home that you are selling. So a really cool tool. We even have a video which goes through how to use this information to come up with value estimates for homes.
We do a whole lot of tools like this, all of them really very cool for both buyers and sellers. And one thing I should point out is you can't get these from any place else. These are exclusive. You can only get them from the Prescott Pickle Lady.
And all of this is part of our page. We call it Prescott by the Numbers, or more commonly the Pickle page. So if you're on the Pickle page, you know the Pickle page. But if you're not the Pickle page, well, you should get to the Pickle page. And you do that by subscribing. We update it every month. If you subscribe, we will send you a monthly email update with the link so you can go download all the reports that you want. Even if you're not all that interested in getting every single month, just having access to these tools will give you a real leg up when it comes to the real estate game. I hope you found this informative and maybe slightly entertaining, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Please take a moment to look below and find the button that'll take you to the Pickle page. We'll see you there.